My amplified unit, mound up. Top of the morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, salud. It's very early in the morning. I do not have my assistant Sasha with me. Therefore, BC gets the jobber entrance. BC's in the middle of the ring. No real entrance theme. No music. No legit introduction. BC gets the YouTube jobber entrance. It happens. Yeah, what are you gonna do? You know, sometimes you play the role of the jobber. At least I'm not thing one, thing two. If you saw Raw last night, you know what I'm talking about. We're gonna go over that, man, because this is the Monday Night Raw review for September 12th, 2022. From new tag team champions crowned, a mistake from 2 weeks ago that was actually corrected. That's the good news. The bad news, this never should have happened. We'll talk all about it. We're gonna talk the main event. Dominic Mysterio proving his manhood to Uncle Edge. But when it was all said and done, Uncle Edge was wishing he didn't show up. Speaking of showing up, Dexter Lumis in Miz. That scenario gets a whole lot more bizarre. And a very, very good match. The opening debut on the main roster of Johnny Wrestling. Johnny Gargano, 9 months away from that ring, at least, correct? I don't even have Sasha to bounce this off of. We're not live, so I don't have my right-hand man, JR9 Gaming, but I believe it's roughly 9 months, at least. And Johnny Wrestling's in there like he's been doing this wrestling thing, 3-4 matches a night, every night for the last 9 months. Looks like he didn't even miss a step. Ring rust? What is that? We're going to talk all about that and so much more on this show as Triple H goes head-to-head with not just Monday Night Football, not just the Emmys that were also on last night, but he also went against the BC Amplified Wrestler of the Year Awards right here on the channel. That's right. That was the big wabaka. Triple H already knew about Monday Night Football. Triple H already knew about the Emmys. But when Triple H found out that BC put his Wrestler of the Year awards up on the channel, rumor has it Dave Meltzer is reporting that Triple H was shook that BC Amplified put the award show on right before Monday Night Raw. That's the word going. What do you want me to do? That's the word going around. I don't fucking know. I don't know if that's true. And, you know, I only like to report the facts. I have people working on the story. I don't know. But that is a true story, guys. Right before Monday Night Raw. Literally, I went head-to-head with Raw because that's just what I do. I'm a stubborn son of a bitch. That was the time frame that I had to put it up. I could have waited a day, 2, 3 days, and I'm like, no, put it up. Put it up against Raw. I tapped into my inner VKM. Damn it, Sasha, put it against Raw. And that's what I did. And then after it was posted, I'm like, oh, well, now, I hope at least 50 fucking people come across this award show. Thankfully, a few thousand of you guys have already checked it out. I appreciate that big time, man. If you don't know, it is on the channel. It's my award show. Who is my Wrestler of the Year? For the men, who is my Female Wrestler of the Year? And who is my Tag Team of the Year? We had a kick-ass vid yesterday. One of the most newsworthy topics to come out of that award show, by the way, right here on the channel, is the fact that you guys can't believe I was in a tie. What the fuck is so hard to believe? I'm a really good-looking dude. I'm New York City. Do you honestly think I ain't busting out the tie 9, 10, 11 times a week? At least? Of course. We got our best suits on the amplified assembly line, constantly rotating for when BC needs to pick that shit. Same thing with the ties. So, yeah, I was looking pretty fucking dapper. I was feeling damn good, and I wanted to crown a king and a queen of WWE, the male and female wrestlers of the year and the tag team of the year, and that's what we did on this channel. So, we went head-to-head against Raw, but in all seriousness, And that is true. That is serious. That is on the channel if you guys want to check that out after this review. But Triple H was going against the Emmys and Monday Night Football. I'm glad he didn't just pack it up, curl himself into a ball, and hide into a corner, maybe a fucking bathroom, maybe the basement, maybe try to see if the fucking establishment has an attic, hide in there and hope nobody finds you. No, Triple H punched back. Did he produce? Was it enough to you're not going to beat the NFL, but was it enough to fucking jab him and hurt him, give him a rib shot that knocks the wind out of him? We're going to discuss right now. Again, this is Raw, September 12th, 2022, and we talk about it right the fuck now. And before we get started, you see, there's no coffee behind BC, and that's because, as if it wasn't early enough, we don't have Sasha. I don't even have my coffee. The coffee machines have been totally removed from the coffee bar. They're being internally cleansed from top to bottom. They need to be descaled. It's taking a while because we just didn't have the solution and we didn't have the time to go out and get the solution. I don't hire enough staff. I only have my assistant Sasha, and when she says she's having time off, I can't really say anything about it. She just takes the time off. It's well deserved. She works her ass off. But that leaves just BC to try to descale the entire coffee bar. So it's taking a while. I miss it way more than you guys, trust me. So, just wanted to give a little 401. BC, where's the coffee bar, man? The coffee bar has been removed. We did not close the shop. We're just temporarily not available. So you're going to have to go somewhere else for coffee for now. As is BC. When this review is done, you don't think I'm fucking going out? I'm going to hit the Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and the local mom and pop shop. They're located right next to each other. Bing, bang, and boom. And I'm going to fucking hit them all up like bingo. Euro 61, Euro 65, Euro 71, Euro 78. Bingo! I'm going to fucking hit every one. I'm going to be going in. By the time I hit the mom and pop shop, I'm going to have a Dunkin' in my left hand. I'm going to have the Starbucks in my right hand. And I'm going to be fucking double fisting two more from that local mom and pop shop. A Frappuccino and a vanilla latte. I already got it planned out. Oh, I'm going to get fucking jacked up. Trust me. But for now, I don't have coffee. I don't even have a Fiji water, guys. I'm stuck here with a Poland Spring. I'm fucking Class McSass over here, and I'm fucking drinking Poland Spring? The fuck is that? I should have a Fiji in my hand. That's what happens when you don't... Yeah, that's what happens when you don't hire enough assistants, and you just have one. You drink Poland Spring. Could be worse. I could be drinking tap water like a fucking regular person. What the fuck? Not even a Brita machine, man. They're just drinking from the fucking tap like we're 10 years old. Not knowing what the fuck is in that water. That's how we fucking grew up, man. That's when we first got to New York and times were rough. That's how you drank water in the city. Then you smarten up. You smarten up after a while. What the fuck are we talking about? Hey, I can't even talk about Raw yet. My Green Bay, you see the cheesehead up there, man. My Green Bay Packers took an ass whooping this week. I understand that. I acknowledge that. And we took that ass whooping. That's right, we. Even the fans. We took that run right on the fucking jaw, brother. We took an ass whooping. You're going to learn in life. Don't be afraid to take the ass whooping. Take it straight up. Learn your lessons. Come back more vicious, more fierce, more amplified than ever before. And make sure it doesn't happen again. At least not in that way. Because that was an old school ass whooping. It wasn't bad as last year's week number 1 ass whooping that we took from the Saints. And we came back and we became the number 1 team in the NFC. So I'm not panicking. As Aaron Rodgers says, RELAX, relax. But if you thought I wasn't going to fucking sport my Green Bay Packer merch, my Packers wardrobe, you got another thing coming. I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm not a fickle fan. I sport this shit even when we get an ass whooping. We'll see what next week brings to the table. Sunday Night Football against the Chicago Bears. Our arch nemesis, our rivals. Go, Pack, go! All right, for real. Let's start Raw, man. It's early in the morning. It's my fucking channel. Bisley, put timestamps. I'll give you a fucking stamp. Pyro starts the show. And it was thunderous pyro, man. This is Triple H worthy. This is what I was telling you guys. Listen and watch that pyro last night. Now go back to the pyro that Vince occasionally would put together over the last 10 years. This was Triple H. This was almost. It wasn't almost. All right, I'll give it 65% of what the Attitude Era pyro used to be. But it's the closest thing to what we used to get. And if you're too young, you weren't really around for the Attitude Era. You know a lot about it. You know the wrestlers. You've seen some matches. Maybe you know about some storylines. But how he started the show was absolutely it was called the War Zone back then. Raw is War and War Zone. It was two separate shows into one. Same Monday Night Raw, just two different names. And the pyro would literally be like you're in the middle of a war. So it would be coming from the roof, from the sides, up from the fucking ground. The pyro was so explosive. It was the sound. I mean, there was fans showing up with earplugs. Last night, it wasn't exactly to that point, obviously, but it was Triple H worthy. And that's what I was bringing up for weeks. I'm like, if I'm Triple H and I have control now, I'm going to make sure that I just don't have pyro. I have that thunderous pyro that Triple H himself said they used to feel when they were backstage during the Attitude Era. Not just hear it, they could feel it, and they would get even more amplified. That's what's needed. Thunderous pyro. And we got a little glimpse of that last night, man. Pretty fucking cool, if you ask BC. Rollins then comes out, kicks this thing off. Very odd booking here as Rollins cuts a face promo, encouraging the crowd to sing along to his theme music. And the promo is then cut on Matt Riddle. So do I even have to say what the problem here is? He's having the fans, he's doing the sing along with the fans, and everyone's fucking getting into it. So the casual fans, or the really young fans that thought they had the boo Rollins, they're looking at mom and pop and uncle and maybe a friend, and they're like, oh, he's cool. Okay, he's the good guy. And then he cuts a promo on Matt Riddle, who's supposed to be the face in all of this. I mean, if this is not confusing your audience, I don't know what is, man. Riddle is supposed to be the face. I guess they're going with a Jericho-type scenario in AEW, where Jericho has that Judas song that people love to sing. I can say. Judas in my mind. I don't know what they're going with, and everyone sings it, and then Jericho's like doing the sing-along, and then when it's done, Jericho's all of a sudden the heel again. I don't know what they're going with here, man. You're just going to confuse your fucking audience. And what you're doing more than anything, guys, is you're taking the steam and the momentum off of the face in the storyline. And it's going to take a moment for people to fucking get readjusted to the person who's supposed to be getting the huge pop. You have to decide, are you a heel or are you a face? I know it's 2022. Obviously, a lot of wrestlers are down the middle these days. Well, then wrestling's never going to survive that way. Never. We saw how it worked out for 10 fucking plus years with John Cena. He never had more than 60% of the crowd at a time. I can't say, I haven't been to all the live events, maybe some paper, I don't know. Most of the time, it was just a split crowd, and Vince was backstage going, at least it's a reaction and a loud one. As long as we're getting a loud reaction, that's all that matters. No, you could be doing better business. If you booked the dude more correctly, he could be getting more than 65% of cheers. And when he should have turned heel, if he actually did turn heel, that would have been monstrous boos, which would eventually, after 2 to 3 years, put him back as a face and more of that, the highest level of faces up there with, and maybe not topping, but up there with Hogan Austin probably. If John Cena turned heel that first time when he should have, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. There was 3 times that John Cena should have turned heel. But that very first time would have been massive. And you keep that for 2 to 3 years. And then when he turned back face, because he was still so popular with a lot of people, he just would have been the bad guy. But when he turned back, to the moon, bro. To the fucking moon you could have went with him. No, we just settled. We settled with 50-50 reaction. Boos, cheers. It's loud noise. Let's sell all the merchandise that we can. And then Roman, for 5 years, we played the same thing before Vince. And it's only because Joanna Y, Roman Reigns, the guy behind the character, thankfully, Joanna Y went up to Vince and said, dude, the only way I'm coming back, I have to do this or it's done. I can't do this anymore. Somebody had to fucking smack Vince upside his dome piece, and it ended up being Joanna Y. But for 5 years before that, Vince was just forcing this guy into the same role as Cena. Half the crowd cheering, half of them booing, and at least it's loud noise. Let's sell as much merch as we can. But you could be getting a better reaction. You could sell even more. You just gotta give a fuck. So my point is, it's been proven that this doesn't work. And over those years, by the way, with Cena and Roman, watch the ratings every year. They fell more and more and more and more. Now, I'm just saying, man, what's up with the sing-alongs, guys? What are we doing here? We're singing along, and then right afterwards, some of the people that were singing go into a boo. Oh, music stops. Boo, fuck you. So that they look like fucking idiots too. You're fucking, I don't know, bro. It's like the fucking idiots that still press the dislike on a YouTube video. The creator doesn't see the dislike. So all you're doing, if you're trying to stick it to a creator you supposedly don't like, but you're watching all of the videos. But they're pressing a fucking... The creator never sees it. That's gone. Look at it. We don't see that. We never do. Or if there's a way to find... There's BC doesn't fucking know. Nor would I give a shit. There's no way to see the dislike. It doesn't show up. So you're just helping the algorithm of the person you supposedly don't like. But you watch all their videos. But you're helping the algorithm. You thought you were trolling by fucking pressing a dislike. You actually just helped the creator out even more. You fucking schmuck. I don't know if there's anybody more fucking more sad than the person on Tube that presses a dislike and then has to realize, they come to the realization that the whole time they were helping the creator out with the algorithm. It's fucking funny, and I have to laugh. Internet bitch slap to the fucking geeks that thought they were doing damage and they just fucking helped out. Same thing here. You're gonna boo the guy, fucking flip him off, scream profanity at him when he's in the ring. You were just singing his fucking song. You were singing his praises, literally. Fucking schmucks, I tell you, man. This world has no shortage of stupid people. Anyway, I don't understand this sing-along shit. He's half a face at times. He's half a fucking heel. Riddle eventually hits the ring. And again, this is what I mean. Listen to that reaction. Watch it. You know, a lot of crowd wants to pop. A lot of crowd is trying to transition from singing for Rollins and cheering for him and now trying to cheer for Riddle. Rollins does help them out because he says he's not going to give Riddle a match. Or a rematch, so that gets some boos, and then he says, I already told you people, shut up, I'm not giving him a match. So once he tells him to shut up, it's easy to not like him again, and that, I guess, is going to try to help out Riddle, but it was a schmaz, man. So Riddle hits the ring after a little bit of a brawl, because Riddle didn't come out there to talk. Riddle just wanted to fucking take it to Rollins. They brawl a little bit around ringside. They brawl through the crowd. People trying to break that up. Rollins is able to escape in the melee, leaving just Riddle. Somehow, for some reason, he didn't keep chasing him. He went back over the barricade, and Judgment Day hits the top of the ramp. So that was fucking kind of, keep chasing him, motherfucker. Did you not put in your cardio? Maybe you should have been chasing around Dana Brooke for 2 months with the 24/7 fucking Target Toy Championship. You would have gotten your steps goals in every day. You would have been meeting your fucking cardio challenges. But he jumps back over the barricade instead of chasing Rollins, and he looks winded, bro. He looks up, and Judgment Day is on their way down. And by the way, before I get to the Judgment Day, Matt Riddle back and forth, there was a guy in the front row when Rollins and Riddle were brawling. A guy dressed head to toe as Tugboat. How fucking awesome. For you old school fans, you guys know who Tugboat is, bro. Also known as Typhoon when he was with the Natural Disasters with Earthquake. But Tugboat, I had to do a double take because I'm like, Tugboat? What the fuck? Also known as the Shockmaster, but we try to forget about that. One of the worst, if not the worst debuts in pro wrestling history was the Shockmaster in WCW. Wow, was that bad. But we like to remember him as the Tugboat. Or I do, man. That brings back good memories for BC. So shout out to the dude in the front row. Totally looked like Tugboat. There was another woman in the front row, too, by the way. Had the polka dots for old school Dusty Rhodes when he was the polka dot machine. Vince McMahon put a bunch of polka dots on him and thought he wasn't going to get over. We loved Dusty Rhodes back in the day, so it backfired on you, Vinnie Mac. Anyway, Judgment Day. Or Judgment Day's Balor and Priest, anyway. Not Rhea and Dominic. They were involved in something else for the night. We'll get to that in a minute. But Balor and Priest come out to confront Riddle. They offer him a spot in Judgment Day. Riddle declines the offer, and Balor says, and I quote, "Maybe you don't quite understand. You either stand with us or you stand in our way." So Riddle made sure that's no longer a problem, right? Matt Riddle's like, all right, if I'm standing in your way, let's solve that problem right now. And he delivers a thunderous knee to the dome piece, to the chin of Finn Balor, bro. Takes out Damian Priest, and we end up going to commercial break. Badass knee to that fucking chin, bro. When we come back from commercial break, we have Riddle versus Balor one-on-one. The match went roughly 15 minutes through 2 commercial breaks and saw interference from Damian Priest, Rey Mysterio, and Seth Rollins. And when all was said and done, Balor hits coup de grace onto Riddle and collects the W. Rollins then takes out Riddle post-match. So that's basically your bulk of your first half an hour. It's the right call because of all the interference. Yeah, you're kind of saving it. I mean, you have Damian Priest out there. You have Seth Rollins. I mean, everything is working against you. And you're in there with Finn Balor. It's not like he's in there with, James Ellsworth, bro. He's not in there with Gilbert. It's Balor. So when you have more than one distraction on the outside working against you, and you're in there with what should be one of the best wrestlers today. Unfortunately, it's not booked that way, and even he admits he was complacent over the last year and a half. I think this is the right call. Judgment Day, I feel, needs that W so bad right now, man. And the way the night ended, Judgment Day needed a night like that. So that's why I'm going to be in favor of that. Normally, I wouldn't be liking somebody like Riddle losing that son of a bitch like that. You know, he loses over at the Clash, loses a match like this. But I don't mind at all how this was done. Coup de grace, collects the W over Riddle, and then afterwards Rollins puts the boots to him some more. Insult to injury, adding salt to the wounds. Riddle took his ass whoopings last night. Riddle took his ass whoopings like my Green Bay Packer took the ass whooping to the Minnesota Vikings. Ass whoopings happen occasionally, man. You got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go back and whoop ass even more dominant than you got your ass whooped. That's what my Packers got to do, and that's what Riddle's going to have to do. So I didn't mind that. I would have started off a little bit more eventful if I'm going against Monday Night Football, but that's what Triple H went with. It'll be interesting to see if the rating from the start of the show carried through that first half an hour, or how much was the drop. It's going to be interesting. BC's a numbers guy, so I'm going to be very keen onto those numbers later this afternoon. Incredible backstage promo by Dominic Mysterio in basically pitch black. The only thing in color was his face. It was really well done. And he says, Dad, for such a... This is a quote. Dominic Mysterio says, Dad, for such a tiny, tiny man, you cast a large shadow, but I'm done living in it. Rhea Ripley then appears through this pitch blackness, and Rhea whispers something into Dominic's ear. Dominic then says, and I quote, I'm not your little boy anymore. I'm a man now. And he walks off. camera zooms in on Rhea Ripley, and she's got this shit-eating grin on her face. And we fade to even more black than we already were in. I thought that was pretty well done. I don't know where they're going with this I'm a man now with Rhea Ripley and Dom. I mean, did he take his virginity? Did she take his virginity? Is she just fucking... Is she fucking riding that dude 3-4 times before the show starts? And Dominic's like, dude, I'm choosing you over that, obviously. What is this? I'm a man. And every time they say this, they pan over to Rhea and she's got this smile on her face. Kind of funny. But it was just so well done, man. I love how everything was pitch black. You just saw Dominic's face. And then Rhea just enters stage left, camera right. I thought that was fucking awesome. And then hour number 1 ends with the women's tag team title rematch. Damage Control versus the champions Aaliyah and Raquel Gonzalez. This was a 10-minute match. Iyo hits an insane moonsault out onto Raquel on the outside. It looked at first like literally Iyo Sky's the bottom of her boots. It looked like they clocked Raquel right in the dome piece. That's what it looked like anyway. I mean, that's this thing. She got it all, let me tell you. And Raquel felt it all. Back inside the ring, Dakota Kai pins Aaliyah. I almost had to correct myself, man. Dakota Kai. And I was like, wait a second, did I just call her a TV show? No, that's Cobra Kai. And that's fresh on my mind because the new season just came out. So, I already watched the first 2 episodes. I got 8 more to go. I don't have a lot of time to watch things like TV, Netflix, so it takes me a longer time than you guys. But I did not call her Cobra Kai. I called her Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai back in the ring is pinning Aaliyah, getting that revenge from 2 weeks ago when Aaliyah made Dakota Kai look like a fucking idiot, not just rolling her up and beating her, but it was one of the most nonchalant roll-ups I've ever seen. By the count of 3, Aaliyah was almost entirely off of Kai. It was so sad, man. Somebody has to teach Aaliyah. The simplest thing like a roll-up, you have to lean into it and make your opponent look good like they really can't get out of it. So Dakota pins Aaliyah. Iyo and Dakota become new tag team title champions. 2 weeks too fucking late. But sometimes it's better late than never. Triple H knew that he fucked up and it was corrected. That's the bottom line. Triple H knew they all fucked up. Creatively in that match, it was a fuck up when Aaliyah and Raquel walked out of that ring with titles over Damage Control. They're literally called Damage Control, and the only damage that is being done is against Bayley, Iyo, and Dakota. Their mission statement is we're taking over the women's division. Supposedly, that's the mission statement. Bayley's even saying that this week, yet they couldn't even beat Aaliyah. That's not even shade to little Aaliyah. She's been getting better and better, thankfully. After all these years, I would hope so. It's not shade to it. This has nothing to even do with Aaliyah from the jump. This is like, how do you do that to Kai and Sky? 2 weeks later it took, but they finally get their fucking moment. Why could this not have been done 2 weeks ago? How was it not done 2 weeks ago? You know, it's upsetting that you book people that are supposed to be so strong from the beginning and you book them to look so weak and so bad. And you think that's the right decision. No, it's very wrong. And BC talked about it in depth. Especially that whole first week. But I've been talking about it. A lot of people said, BC, you're being too harsh. You're critiquing that part too much. Don't worry, BC. Nobody's worrying, bro. I'm not critiquing it harsh enough. And to show that I was right with every fucking word that I preached, they changed it just 2 weeks later. And they put it on who should have always had it, Damage Control. Again, I say 2 weeks too fucking late. But sometimes it's better to be late than never. Once they got to the aisleway with those new titles, they turned around And there was massive pyro for them. So they got their own pyro as they won the titles. I thought that was a nice touch, right? Here's a crazy concept. Let's make Damage Control at least seem like they're fucking relevant. How do we do that? Give them some better booking. This is shit I would used to preach to VKM. Well, you're in charge supposedly now, bro. You can't book the ladies like that. And it's astonishing that Triple H, of all people, has been booking the ladies so oddly lately. It started with that. And then it went to Friday Night SmackDown, 2 ladies matches, 9 wrestlers, 9 women over 2 separate matches. A 5-way eliminator match and a tag team title match. And both matches combined for the ladies equaled only 7 minutes. There was more wrestlers than there was minutes given to them. This is not how Triple H used to book in NXT his ladies. I'm not saying it has to be the same exact thing. I understand things change for the main roster, but bro, you cannot book the women like that and expect people to give a fuck about them or expect the ladies not to be damaged because of such bad booking. I don't want to harp on this and be too negative. The right decision was it was rectified. The wrong decision from 2 weeks ago was rectified. Triple H knew the problems and the issues, and he corrected them. BC was right yet again. It's not a pat on the back. I shouldn't have to be declaring these issues to be so bad. I shouldn't have to be doing that. They should never pass the first page on the rough copy of the scripts, let alone make it onto our television sets. That shit should never be allowed. But it's vindication of why BC has this channel, right? When people go, you critique too hard, you're too harsh, you're so mean, you're an asshole, you're a jerk, Beasley, you're so angry, Beasley. No, I'm very truthful is what I am. I don't sugarcoat on this channel. I don't bullshit you guys. And I like to think that that's why people love coming here more than anywhere else. Because we are going to harp on shit. We are going to be negative where it needs to be, and we're going to harp on that negativity if need be. Because shit like that can't happen. And we are the voices that the people like Triple H, the people like Tony Khan and so many others, these promoters, they're going to have to eventually turn to. When shit hits the fan and things start going south, we are the voices in the community. Whether you like it or not, we're working for the betterment of pro wrestling. We're not helping to destroy it like some people like to think because we're talking about it and it's not all positive and a bed of roses and fucking flying colored cupcakes and chocolate chip cookies being thrusted at you. No, bro. We ain't going to do that on this channel. We have to talk the reality so the company, the product, the business, the industry can become better. The only way we do that is if we're truthful. The only ones that are truthful, people like BC, who are not afraid to give it to Triple H the way he needs to fucking understand it. How's that for a fuck? Oh, I wish Sasha, my assistant, was here for that rant. It's upsetting that we even had to wait 2 weeks and that we even had to rectify this wrong. This easily could have been fucking adjusted 2 weeks ago. It was not a botch, by the way. There's still some people that think, oh, basically, that wasn't even supposed to happen, man. Literally, the wrong person got pinned. The ref accidentally counted. You could see Dakota say, I was not legal. Guys, that was not a botch. That was literally what I'm willing to actually, and this is not a conspiracy. This is literally how I feel. I bet you Vince McMahon told Triple H he wanted Aaliyah and Raquel to win the titles initially. And then you can do what you want, but I want them to initially, because Vince McMahon was really high on Aaliyah and Raquel. We already knew that when Vince was still there. I don't think that was coincidence at all. Look at Aaliyah. She's already jumping up into a victory position in the fruit roll-up. She's already in that victory formation, jumping up and down in that shit like, yeah, we did it. And when Dakota looks at Iyo and says, I wasn't legal, that was totally in character. You can tell. The ref was not paranoid like some real big botch just happened in the wrong championship crowd. The ref went about business as usual. Corey Graves went to fucking say it right, plant the seed, and that was it. That was supposed to happen. They literally booked Aaliyah and Raquel to be tag team champions. And they rectified the wrong, thankfully. That ended hour number 1. And hopefully Damage Control can be booked. Oh, I was going to say better start. Wait till you hear, was it the end of Yeah, the end of hour 2. So that's the end of hour 1. We think that Damage Control is now going to be booked properly going forward. They now have tag titles. Bayley will go after Belair's title. Whether she wins it or not is in the eye of the beholder, or Triple H in this case. But that was the end of hour number 1. We thought, okay, Damage Control is hopefully on the upswing, the uptick. Wait till you hear what happened at the end of hour number 2. Because this will boggle your fucking dome piece straight into a brick fucking wall. When it was all said and done, Damage Control still looks like the fucking geeks that they've been being booked like. But we start hour number 2. Let me get a swig of fucking Poland. It's not even fucking Fiji. I'm living like a fucking simpleton, like an average person right now. What the fuck? Johnny Wrestling's Raw debut starts hour number 2. Johnny Gargano versus Chad Gable, bro. Just think of that. Man, if we had a proper 2-month storyline and then we got them at a pay-per-view and they banged out for a half an hour. Come on, bro. 15-minute match. This match was so much fun to watch. Such good back and forth wrestling. Gargano hits his slingshot DDT finisher for the debut victory over Gable. And that's exactly what should be happening. I love Gable. But it's Johnny. He had to win that, right? I mean, he had to win that, man. That's his debut. I don't care if he's in there with an Omas, a Chad Gable, a Matt Riddle, a Seth Rollins. Gargano has to win that debut. It's like Cody showing up at WrestleMania. If he lost to Rollins, that's unacceptable. You can't do that. That's worse than Aaliyah rolling up fucking Dakota Kai for a title. In my book. So he had to win that match. But if he hasn't already, Chad Gable absolutely showed everyone how incredibly, I can fucking speak. I need the coffee. How incredibly good he is in that squared circle. Because Chad Gable is every bit as good as BC is pumping him up to be. I really hope that his day is coming soon, honestly, because Chad Gable is putting everyone over, and he has been. And helping them look like $1 million. As for Gargano, it doesn't take much to make him look good because he's already so amazing in that ring. So good is Johnny Wrestling. I just can't say enough about that match. Just to be starting hour number 2 and for us to get a treat like that. I always say this, guys. The shows, even if it's a 3-hour Raw, the main focal point is not actually the wrestling. It shouldn't be. That's not how wrestling should be. It's not the winning formula. The shows are for building storylines so we can get to a pay-per-view, which isn't just about making a lot of money for the company, these pay-per-views or premium live events. They're nights where we, the fans, get to celebrate a bigger night of wrestling, feel something even more than just a stereotypical run-of-the-mill television show, right? It's the nights where we're like, oh, the pay-per-view's on tonight, or the premium event. You know, it's good for the fans, right? It's a special night of wrestling. Well, that's why I'm saying that the shows, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown in this case, they should be used, the bulk of those shows, to build the storylines. Of course, we get matches during the night. 1 or 2 of them, maybe even 15, 20 minutes long, right? Longer. But it should all be focused on storytelling. So I'm not a big, I don't need to see 5 matches that are each 20 minutes apiece every Monday night. I don't need to see that. It's not going to build anything for the future, or not anything that's really going to captivate the majority of your audience. But something like Gargano and Gable, man, I just sat back and I just really enjoyed that shit. And they didn't have to flip and dive all around the fucking ring to get any reaction. They didn't have to risk their fucking life every other move. Just a good wrestling match with really cool moves still, too, by the way. You don't have to be a fucking circus freak, a glorified gymnast to do cool moves today. Johnny Wrestling will show you that. And fucking Chad Gable is just a wizard in that fucking ring. No disrespect, Chris Jericho, who also calls himself a fucking wizard. But Chad Gable is, for his size, the strength that this guy has, how good he is, I really hope that his day is coming soon to get that rocket on his back. But Johnny Wrestling, this was his fucking night for sure, and there's many more to come for Johnny Wrestling. Post-match, Theory attacks Johnny Wrestling, man. Gargano's going up the ramp. He turns around, gives another salute to the fans. Babaka! Fucking briefcase to the back. And Gargano is being attended by refs and medical staff. He's fucked up after that W. We go to commercial break. When we come back, Theory is in the middle of the ring cutting a promo. He doesn't say much before being cut off by Kevin Owens, just like last week. Owens then hits the ring and cuts one of, if not his greatest promos ever on Austin Theory. Kevin Owens was fully amplified as he tries to talk some sense into Theory. He says, and I quote, "You're not as good as you think you are, but if you check your ego at the door and find that passion, maybe you could be great." And he said a bunch more shit, too. That was just one of his really cool quotes. And he's screaming this. And you don't really see Owens scream a lot like that. He can cut damn good promos, but he doesn't have to scream like that. Or when he does scream, it's a different type of yelling. You guys know what I'm talking about. This was a different type of Owens last night in the face of Theory, really trying to help this motherfucker stop being a douche. But Theory declines the advice. He's screaming at Theory. Austin wants to hear none of it. And he just flexes again in Owens' face, and he gets on the mic and he says, "You'll never be like me, Owens." "You'll never be like me, Kevin." So Owens says, and I quote, "Well, talking sense into you isn't going to work. Maybe this will." And he proceeds to slap all of the taste buds out of Austin's mouth. Rumor has it some of those taste buds are still in Section 302 in that arena. Man, that was devastating. And then they just start brawling in the ring. They go around the ring. They start brawling there. Referees, suits and ties, WWE officials. Everybody's trying to break this up. At one point, it looked like Owens actually broke the nose of Theory. Theory is busted up from his nose. There's some blood on his forehead, but his nose is in rough shape. And Owens actually yells out, and I quote, "I broke your nose, and it's just the beginning, bitch." "I broke your nose, it's just the beginning, bitch." And fucking Theory's pissed off. And we fade into a commercial. That was just really well done. Now, segments later, it was announced that next week, Owens will be taking on Theory. Now, because of that promo, pretty cool, right? You don't mind seeing that match again. You almost forget, that we just saw that match last week. And it was the same type of deal. Theory's cutting a promo. Owens interrupts, cuts his own promo. They go back and forth, and it leads to a match. That was just last week. So all they did over the next 2 weeks, starting last night and into next week, is they're doing the same thing they did last week, but they're breaking it up into parts. So now they did the promo and a brawl last night, and the match will be next week. So a little trickery there by Triple H, but I like it because it breaks the formula up a little bit, right? Where VKM would just do the rematch every fucking week for 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row. And he wouldn't add some flavor into there. He wouldn't add any seasoning. He would literally boil some fucking noodles and not put anything on the noodles. No fucking red sauce, no clam sauce, no fucking butter and salt, no seasoning, nothing. He just potted some fucking noodles and it's just plain. Who the fuck wants plain noodles every fucking night? Put something on top of it. That's what McMahon would give us. No, Triple H said, okay, we're going to do this match for a couple of weeks, but we're going to make it really fun, man. Let's get really into it, man. Get passionate. Get it amplified in your promos. Beat the fuck out of each other in the brawl, right? Well, fucking, that promo was bad. Owens upped his promo from last week to a whole nother level. And Theory's over there, what looked like a broken nose or at least busted up. I mean, yeah, that's going to pique people's interest. So now, even though it's a rematch from last week, I'm looking forward to Owens and Theory too now. Maybe they faced each other even before last week, a while back, most likely. But I'll call it Owens and Theory too because it's fresh. And Owens is putting on some of his best work in years. A rejuvenated Owens. And I'm really high on Theory too, man. I hope that just because Vince is gone, Theory doesn't get that push still. You know, Theory absolutely has been busting his ass and putting a lot of people over, taking L's, even with the briefcase. I mean, there's no reason that he can't get a decent push in the middle of Owens skyrocketing back to the top. So that whole thing was well done for hour 2. From Johnny Gargano versus Chad Gable to the post-match attack by Theory to Owens coming out in their promo and brawl. Top-notch shit there for hour 2. End of hour 2, Bianca Belair, the 2021-2022. Oh, spoiler if you didn't catch the video I put up late last night. Literally, I put it up right before Monday Night Raw. So that video went head-to-head with Raw. A few thousand of you guys did already catch it. I didn't know if anybody was even going to be able to see it because you'd be watching Raw and then you'd be going to bed. But a lot of you guys were able to still catch that. But I'm going to give you a spoiler on the female side. The 2021-2022 Female Wrestler of the Year, Bianca, the amplified Female Wrestler of the Year, Bianca Belair, is out next. She issues an open challenge for her Raw Championship. Sonya Deville comes out, and this makes zero fucking sense. She's a SmackDown superstar, guys. And I use that term lightly, superstar. She's a SmackDown wrestler. I get it. It's an open challenge, BC. Anybody can theoretically accept the challenge, right? Fucking receptionist Rebecca at WWE Stanford headquarters. She can fucking answer the call, right? Janitor Johnston in the arena. He can answer the fucking call. Paralegal Pamela, if she's not too busy with Johnny Laurinaitis fighting for the people. Paralegal Pamela can go for the title. Right? Anyway, it's an open challenge. I get it. But this makes everybody look absolutely... It makes the entire division look stupid. Only Sonya Deville went all the way. She packed her bags and came all the way from the blue brand. Nobody in that red brand locker room wanted anything to do with Bianca. It took somebody on a whole nother fucking brand. This is what I mean about the brand split. It's absolutely goofy at this point. Goofy, man. The Street Profits are fucking on SmackDown Friday. Alpha Academy is cutting a promo on SmackDown Friday night just to get beat up by Braun Strowman, the same fucking angle that we saw last Monday. It's just no brand split, man. It's done. Sonya Deville comes out of nowhere. The whole crowd, you could hear a pin drop. Nobody gave a fuck. Makes everybody look stupid. Deville gives everything she had in this match. It just wasn't good enough. The match was rather rough, to be honest with you. As the two just did not have great chemistry. They didn't even have good chemistry. I thought they worked better in the past, but last night they were just not gelling, man. Deville looked really off. Deville looked like she was more occupied with trying to keep her top up. Every fucking other move, she would try to lift up her, make sure that her top is good. Don't worry about that, man. You're in the middle of the ring with the amplified 2022 Wrestler of the Year, Bianca Belair. Title on the line, national TV, primetime television. And you're fucking just worried about your top's not going anywhere. She had one of those ring things which was going to keep it up. I mean, the McGillicuddies are not that fucking huge. You're not like your Natty Neidhart and her sister Jenny out there. Then I could understand. It was just it was rough, man. It was not. You could tell throughout the match. You could check this match out, guys. Check this match out. Bianca Belair, as the match went on, she was becoming more and more annoyed. Corey Graves even had to mention that several times. And it wasn't just like character-wise. I mean, she was actually getting annoyed. There was a point where she I forgot what move it was, but Deville was about to get covered, and they just did something from the corner, actually. And Belair just like plops down on Sonya with all her weight, and you look at the face that Bianca's giving. It's not even like it's a face after Sonya kicked out at 2, right? Then you would be like, oh, no. As the referee is just counting 1, the look on Belair's face is like, I'm getting pissed off now. Like, work with me better here. Belair was getting pissed, man. Those facial expressions from Belair told you everything. It was just a rough match with what seemed like no chemistry. But the right call was made at the finish, which saw Belair hit Deville with the KOD for the pinfall. So not just a victory. It was not any roll-up shit. It was the finishing move. That's how you like to see matches end. The KOD finisher. Belair retains her championship. Post-match, Bayley comes out and sets a trap as Damage Control beats down Belair. Now, they should have left it just like that, man. It was done beautifully. Your champion gets the W. Belair comes out, talks some shit. Iyo and Dakota come up from behind or on the sides. In the trio, the group beats down the champion. Believe it or not, Damage Control has not had that type of moment since their debut at SummerSlam. And I can't even say since. They didn't even do anything at SummerSlam but just come down. But they haven't had that signature moment yet. So that's how that should have gone. They just beat the shit out of Belair, and then they have that signature pose to the hard cam after they just won the tag titles too. People are going to be looking and saying, damn, Damage Control is now legit. Like, they are nobody to fuck with. And after 2 weeks ago, just seeing Aaliyah pin Dakota for the titles, I mean, that they needed a moment like that where they're just beating down the champion. So BC was literally like, leave it. Please do not bring down Asuka and Alexa. We already saw that shit for a whole month. We actually saw the match at the Clash last Saturday. There's no reason to fuck with the Damage Control's momentum right now. They won the tag titles a half an hour ago, and now they're beating up the fucking women's champion. Let them be, bro. Sure enough, Vince McMahon booking is what I call this. Here comes Alexa Bliss and Asuka, full steam Ultimate Warrior status. They hit the ring, and they beat the shit out of Bayley, Dakota, and Iyo. And when the segment ends, Bayley's on her ass. Iyo and Dakota on their knees, in pain. Crying, thinking, how did this happen? Bayley, get up. Oh my goodness. And they're looking up at the faces that are celebrating the easy ass whooping. Commercial. End hour number 2. Belair takes out Bayley. Belair took out Bayley, and then they all retreated to the outside mat on their asses and on their knees, crying as they look up to the fucking faces. Why? Why, Triple H? Or anybody? Vince McMahon, whoever's fucking doing that. What the fuck? Who thought that was a good idea to 50-50 book them within a half an hour? They win the titles, they get their fucking asses whooped. Bayley talks a big game again, gets her fucking ass whooped. Why not just let him beat the fucking champ down, man? Even if you're going to have Bayley take the title. BC, this happens when the person that's going to take the title have to take a beating first. There is no fucking pay-per-view yet, bro. There's no premium event. There's no match announced for them yet. You got weeks to go at least. You could have had that beatdown to really signify, to stamp that signature moment for Damage Control. You know I'm fucking right. I cringed just as, if not even more, than 2 weeks ago when Aaliyah pinned Dakota for the titles. I cringed even more watching Asuka and Alexa save Belair. Because the damage that was done was to Damage Control more than anything. And I'm not just talking about the beating that they took from Asuka, Alexa, and Bianca. No, fucking reputation-wise. Prestige, how we look at them. Perception. Damage Control. Even after they just won the tag titles. They just got damaged yet again. Hour number 3 kicks off with Omas. Omas derails, destroys, and disintegrates 2 bingo hall bodies. Corey just calls them Thing 1 and Thing 2. And probably for the best, because nobody would want their name attached to that ass whooping, bro. Nobody is going to say, yeah, that was me. Effective traditional jobber match here, guys. Monster annihilates a mere mortal, or mere mortals, right? Monster wins. No harm, no foul. There was some technical difficulties during this match, and I had to wonder, is this Triple H's work, you know? Because Omas is not really going to grasp a lot of people's attention, right? It's not going to make a lot of people put the fucking remote control down. He's just not. So You know, Triple H sometimes will do these things where he just wants to kind of get your attention by any means necessary. Like, just try some little tricks here and there. So a little bit of a technical, and they had this perfect screen up where it was half a Raw and half technical difficulties. And it was just like, it looked like they were ready for that shit, bro. You don't always see that with a show having technical difficulties. They put that shit up after just like 4 or 5 seconds of the technical difficulties. You could still hear the audio, just muffled. And what that does in television is, WWE is not the first people to do this. It's a shock factor. Now, I know, you're thinking, BC, it's not much of a shock. I know. But it's that surprise shock factor where people are seeing something that they don't usually see, A, and or B, is kind of going off the rails. Like, this isn't supposed to be happening. Are they going to correct it? What's going on here? And that actually keeps people's interest. I'm not saying it's exactly what happened, but I wouldn't be shocked if we find out Triple H actually had those technical difficulties put in there. Which I guess, technical difficulties, I guess that sums up Omas's booking since his arrival, huh? Technical difficulties. Special interview next with The Miz at his home. He's getting ready for a big premiere with his ever so stunningly beautiful main squeeze, Maryse. And she's looking ever so stunningly beautiful. She's got a long slit from the top of her fucking thigh all the way down. I mean, she's got legs for days, mamma mia, as Mauro Ranallo would say. Or my nanny. Or every one of my family members. Mamma mia! Maron! Those fucking legs on Maryse. They're getting ready to go to some premiere. Maybe it was BC's Amplify Pro Wrestler of the Year Awards on this channel. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. Maybe they were getting ready for that premiere. But they're putting their kids to bed. Evidently, there's a handler there, right? A handler, like they're fucking dogs. A nanny? I don't know. Somebody, they're putting the kids to bed. They're in their jammies. Miz is kissing them tonight. We'll be back later. You go to bed. So the kids are going to be at the home. Miz and Maryse are going to be taking off after this little WWE interview. We see Dexter Lumis outside looking into the window. And when asked about Lumis from this WWE interviewer, Miz flips out and he reiterates that he doesn't want to talk about it. He's got to tell this dude this 2 or 3 times before Miz finally has enough, and he kicks the WWE crew out of the house. Half because he's annoyed, and half because Maryse is telling him they have to leave for this premiere. So the camera follows Miz and Maryse outside as they drive away to this premiere. The camera then zooms back into the house because he notices something. It's Dexter Lumis in the house. The camera is zooming through the window, and now Dexter's in the house. And he holds up like a drawing or something of Miz, Maryse, and in the kids. I don't know. But just seeing Lumis in this fucking house, and then they just cut to the commentary booth, and I love Corey Graves. Corey Graves was absolutely phenomenal. When they cut back to the desk, to the broadcast desk, man, the commentary booth, Corey Graves is going ballistic. Will somebody please call the police? Why am I the only one concerned here? And Byron and Jim Smith are like, calm down, Corey. It's fine. And Corey's like, it's not. A lunatic is in Miz's house and there's kids there. Bro, mad applause. If I had a coffee, I would actually salute Corey Graves. We don't always see eye to eye, but when the dude is on, the dude is on. I mean, he was awesome in that, bro. Sticking up for the Miz, going extra. I mean, this was old school. I'm not going to put him in the exact equation of Bobby the Brain Heenan, but it's in the category because Heenan would do shit like that for the heel. You know, if something was going on to the face, that just, yeah, I didn't see it. I dropped the contact. What happened? And meanwhile, the face is getting the shit kicked out of him. But Bobby the Brain Heenan would never sell it, never acknowledge it. I dropped the contact. I didn't see it. I need to get new glasses. But if something was happening to the heel, Bobby the Brain Heenan would act like it was the biggest travesty since fucking Pearl Harbor or some shit. 9/11, like he would literally act like the world was crumbling, bro. And you'd be like, really, bro? But you loved it. Bobby Heenan was so good at it. Corey Graves was so extra in that segment. So ballistic, so amped. I loved it, bro. And it really helped the segment. I really feel that way. Dexter Lumis. I love that whole thing, man. There was a lot of... there was good on Raw last night, you know, even if it seems subtle. That promo with Theory and Owens in that beatdown, man. The brawl afterwards, so good. Chad Gable and Johnny Gargano, if you just love pure wrestling, that fucking more than delivered for you. And then the Dominic Mysterio promo or backstage pitch black promo with Rhea Ripley, I thought that was well done as well. This segment with Miz and the kids, Dexter Lumis, bro, that was really good actually. And Corey Graves just made it even better. The main event was Edge versus Dominic Mysterio, or Dominic. Judgment Day's Dominic. Ray tries to stop Edge late from finishing off his son. So Edge has Dominic tied up in the ropes. And Ray gets in the ring and just stops him. And he keeps pulling Edge's arm until Edge is literally distracted bro, what? He pushes Ray twice. He actually had to push one of his best friends, man, Rey Mysterio. He had to push him away. He's like, dude, get the fuck off me, seriously. And this allows all of Judgment Day to interfere and take out both Rey Mysterio and Edge. So I guess Judgment Day looked at it as a perfect time to take out both of them. And that's exactly what they did. Rey was destroyed on the outside, and Edge looked to be written off TV inside the ring. It was that type of beating with Dominic repeatedly bashing Edge's leg with a steel chair. And Balor finishes him off. Balor. Oh, I need a fucking coffee. Balor finishes off Edge's leg after that beating by Dominic with the steel chair on that leg. A coup de grace from the top rope while the leg was intertwined in the steel chair. We saw that last week. Was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, last week. And it looked like that was supposed to write him off. And it's almost like they got backstage and Triple H was waiting and said, by the way, we need you guys to actually have a match next week and then we'll write you off. Because it looked like Edge was supposed to be written off when that happened last week. But instead, they did it again this week, and Edge was walking fine on that leg. So they did it again a little bit more vicious. A lot of steel chair shots by Dominic, and then the coup de grace yet again. And even Jim Smith literally says he just broke his leg. As if Jim Smith is Doogie Howser, MD, by the way. And if you don't know who Doogie Howser is, then damn, I am dating myself. And you're young. That's a good thing. But Doogie Howser, MD, you can Google that shit. That was the TV jam back in the day. Doogie Howser, MD. I'll just let you know. I'll just tell you who he was. He was a kid who was a doctor. He was a kid genius that was actually a doctor. It was a fun show back in the day. Anyway, Jim Smith is tapping into his inner Doogie Howser and says he broke his leg. How the fuck do you know that, Jim Smith? But I'm sure he's just translating exactly what we already knew. It looks like he's being written off TV for a while. I mean, that's the type of beating that would write somebody off. So it looks like Edge is taking some more time away. Maybe when he comes back, he'll come back with Beth Phoenix, and we'll get the Rhea Ripley Judgment Day, Beth Phoenix, Edge, Ray. I'm not a big fan of schmaz matches. You know, these 6-man schmazes. I want schmaz after a fucking other schmaz. That's wrestling today. But if you're going to give me Beth Phoenix versus Rhea Ripley in any version or format, BC's going to say, I'm there. And we went off the air. That's it, actually. We went off the air with all of Judgment Day standing over Edge, arms raised and posing for the hard cam. Easily the signature moment thus far for the Judgment Day. And we end the show. That was their signature moment. That's what I was hoping Damage Control was going to have after they beat the shit out of Belair. Iyo and Dakota get the tag titles. A half an hour later, Bayley is beating the fuck out of Bianca. And then they just stare at that hard cam. Damage Control is legit. You can look at them and now say, damn, they're a real badass faction. We can't do that with fucking Damage Control. with Judgment Day, we could not do that for the longest time. I feel last night was their signature night with signature moments. So at least they were booked much better. We go off the air with Monday Night Raw. Show ends. So as I said just a few minutes ago, that there were some good parts to this. You know, a lot of stuff that still befuddles me. I don't like the Sonya Deville answering the challenge shit. I don't like fucking SmackDown intertwining with Raw that easily and vice versa with no real explanation. They just show up, they got their wrestling gear, they get airtime, and nobody says anything. I don't like the beating down with Damage Control just getting their asses whooped. You know, there's things that I absolutely had to discuss in the bad category, but I'm glad that Triple H did not just hunker down and crawl up in a ball and hide until Monday Night Football was over and the Emmys and BC's Amplified Wrestler of the Year awards. No, Triple H punched back. And now it's just, did this show do enough to stay around 1.9, right? They've been over 2 million. Can they hover 1.9? That'll be a victory, I think, for H. You're going to take a little bit of a hit, but I never use that as an excuse, sports or presidential speeches or holidays. I don't like excuses. There is none. You put together your best show and you will get an audience. Was this show good enough to get over 2 million? I don't think so. Does that mean they didn't? Absolutely not. They've been getting over 2 mil. I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying I wouldn't be shocked if they did not get 2 million because I don't think it was worthy of that. A lot of things still need to be done. But as long as they get anywhere around 1.9, I'm sure Triple H will look at that as a victory. If they go all the way to a 1.8, that's a hit. That's a hit. And now they know they got a battle on their hands with the National Football League. Because you don't want to drop over 200 to 250,000 viewers in 1 week. You don't want to do that. AEW did that on Dynamite. AEW started off, everybody wanted to see what was going on with the suspensions. Is anyone fired? What's going to happen with the titles? They wanted to hear what Tony Khan had to say. MJF is debuting. It started out with a 1.2 plus. And by the end of the night, with Dan Garcia and Wheeler, Utah, they were at an 800 and like 80-something thousand, possibly. But it was 880-something. Yeah. They lost 300 plus thousand viewers by the end of the night. Not good. My name's BC, the Amplified Man. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this Raw review. I will catch you guys for many more vids, live streams coming up later in the week, hopefully, but much more content. Hopefully my assistant Sasha will be around too, so things will be a little bit easier and smoother, and I can have fucking coffee, which I'm going to get a lot of right now, and I'm going to whoop Tuesday's ass. Amp Unit, top guy, and I got to be fucking out. Think, be, live, amped always. Until next time, it's BC signing off, saying, check you later. Now go whoop the day's ass. I had a jobber entrance, I got a jobber exit. I got no theme music. So it's just me saying check you. I don't. Some days you gotta play the jobber. Salud. Fucking Poland Springs, really?